Judge tries to humiliate Jason Statham. But what happened next will shock you. The courtroom was packed to the brim, buzzing with anticipation. Journalists, lawyers, and curious onlookers filled every available seat, their eyes glued to the front of the room. The case had been the talk of the town for weeks. And today was the day Hollywood's most formidable action star, Jason Statham, would face off against one of the most notorious judges in the country, Judge Clarence Whitmore. Judge Whitmore was a man who thrived on power and intimidation. Known for his sharp tongue and his penchant for humiliating defendants, especially celebrities, he had built a reputation for being ruthless and unyielding. Today, he was ready to add Jason Statham to his list of high-profile victims. As the bailiff called the court to order, the room fell silent. The doors swung open, and in walked Jason Statham, dressed in a tailored black suit that accentuated his muscular frame. His signature stoic expression was unchanged, his sharp eyes scanning the room with the calm precision of a man who had faced far greater challenges than a courtroom. Judge Whitmore leaned back in his chair, adjusting his glasses with an air of superiority. He smirked as he looked down at Statham, clearly relishing the opportunity to take the action star down a peg. Judge Whitmore, mockingly. Well, if it isn't the action hero himself, you're used to scripts where you always win, aren't you? But let me assure you here, in the real world, things don't work that way. A few chuckles rippled through the gallery. Journalists scribbled furiously, eager to capture every word. Cameras clicked, flashing like lightning as they captured Statham's face. Calm, unreadable, his sharp eyes locked onto the judge. Whitmore wasn't done. He leaned forward, resting his elbows on the bench. Tell me, Mr. Statham, do you think you can charm your way out of this situation? Or perhaps you'd like to impress the court with some of your famous fight moves? Maybe a little car chase through the city? The crowd laughed again. But Statham didn't move. He didn't blink. He simply tilted his head slightly, assessing the man in front of him, like he would an opponent in one of his films. Then he spoke. His voice was calm, controlled, but there was an unmistakable edge to it. Jason Statham. With all due respect, Your Honor, I'm not here to put on a show, but if you are, I'd be happy to watch. The laughter stopped. Whitmore's smirk faltered for just a moment before he quickly recovered. He narrowed his eyes, clearly not used to being challenged. Judge Whitmore. Very clever, but let's get to the matter at hand, shall we? The evidence against you is rather damning. A large screen at the front of the courtroom flickered to life. The prosecution had presented CCTV footage. A video that supposedly placed Statham at the scene of an alleged altercation. The room was silent as the video played. But as Jason watched, his sharp instincts, honed from years of training, filming action sequences, and knowing exactly how video editing worked, caught something off. A glitch. A barely perceptible distortion in the footage. He leaned slightly toward his lawyer and whispered, "Rewind that. Zoom in on the reflection in the car window." His lawyer hesitated, but did as asked. The courtroom gasped. The reflection in the car window showed something shocking. A different timestamp than the one displayed on the footage. The video had been tampered with. The prosecution stammered. The judge's expression darkened. Jason turned his head slightly toward him, his smirk barely noticeable. Jason Statham. Looks like someone's been playing editor. Suddenly, The doors at the back of the courtroom burst open. A team of federal agents strode in, their faces grim. The lead agent, a tall woman with a badge clipped to her belt, walked straight towards the judge's bench. Federal agent. Judge Whitmore, you're under investigation for corruption and evidence tampering. Please stand up. The entire courtroom froze. The smug arrogance drained from the judge's face in an instant. His hands trembled slightly as he gripped the edges of his desk. This is outrageous. I am the judge here. You can't. But the agent simply handed him a sealed document. We have proof that you manipulated evidence in multiple cases, including this one. Gasps filled the room. The media scrambled to capture the moment. Jason, arms crossed, watched silently as the once powerful judge was led away in handcuffs. He didn't need to say anything. The truth had spoken loud enough. As he turned to leave, a reporter called out, "Mr. Statham, do you have anything to say about what just happened?" Jason paused, glanced back at the crumbling authority of Judge Whitmore, then smirked. Jason Statham. Yeah, I prefer my villains on screen. And with that, he walked out. A free man, a legend, and the only one in the room who had never acted fake. The fallout from the courtroom drama was immediate and far-reaching. News outlets around the world picked up the story, and within hours, it was trending on social media. The hashtag #Statham vs. Whitmore began trending, with fans and critics alike weighing in on the shocking turn of events. Judge Whitmore's arrest sent shockwaves through the legal community. As federal investigators dug deeper, they uncovered a web of corruption that extended far beyond the courtroom. Whitmore had been manipulating evidence, accepting bribes, and using his position to intimidate and control for years. His downfall was swift and decisive, and it served as a stark reminder that no one is above the law. For Jason Statham, the case was just another day in the life of a man who had spent his career facing down villains, both on and off the screen. But for the public, it was a moment of triumph. Statham's calm, composed demeanor and his sharp instincts had not only saved him from a potential legal nightmare, but had also exposed a corrupt system. In the weeks that followed, Statham found himself in the spotlight once again. But this time, it was for a different reason. His quick thinking and unwavering composure in the courtroom had earned him a new level of respect, not just as an actor, but as a person. He was invited to speak at legal conferences, where he shared his experience and emphasized the importance of integrity and accountability. He even partnered with a non-profit organization dedicated to fighting judicial corruption, using his platform to raise awareness and advocate for change. But despite the newfound attention, Statham remained grounded. He returned to his work, focusing on his next film project and continuing to live his life with the same quiet confidence that had always defined him. The story of Jason Statham's courtroom victory became the stuff of legend. It was a reminder that real-life heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they wear tailored suits and carry themselves with the quiet strength of a man who knows his worth. And as for Judge Whitmore, his legacy was one of infamy. His name became synonymous with corruption, a cautionary tale for those who would abuse their power. In the end, it was a story of truth, justice, and the unyielding spirit of a man who had always been more than just an action star. It was a story that would be told for years to come, a story that proved once and for all, that Jason Statham was a force to be reckoned with, both on and off the screen. As the federal investigation into Judge Whitmore's corruption deepened, more shocking revelations came to light. It turned out that Whitmore had been involved in a vast network of illegal activities, including bribery, evidence tampering, and even blackmail. His connections extended to powerful figures in politics, law enforcement, and the entertainment industry. The media frenzy surrounding the case grew exponentially. Every day brought new headlines, new scandals, and new arrests. The public was captivated by the unfolding drama, and Jason Statham's role in exposing the corruption only added to his legend. The public's reaction to the case was overwhelmingly positive. People admired Statham's courage and integrity, and many saw him as a symbol of hope in a system that often seemed rigged against the average person. Social media was flooded with messages of support, and fans organized rallies and events to celebrate his victory. But not everyone was pleased. Some of Whitmore's allies, fearing exposure, launched a smear campaign against Statham, accusing him of being a publicity seeker and questioning his motives. However, these attacks only served to strengthen Statham's resolve. He remained steadfast, refusing to be drawn into the mudslinging and focusing instead on his work. As the investigation reached its climax, the federal agents prepared to bring Whitmore and his co-conspirators to trial. The case was expected to be one of the most high-profile trials in recent history, and the media was already dubbing it the trial of the century. Jason Statham was called to testify, and his appearance in court was highly anticipated. As he took the stand, the room fell silent. His testimony was calm, measured, and devastatingly effective. He recounted the events of the original case, exposing the corruption and manipulation that had taken place. The defense tried to discredit him, but Statham's composure and credibility were unshakable. His testimony was a turning point in the trial, and it played a crucial role in securing convictions for Whitmore and his co-conspirators.